All right, this week on Camera Talk, what are we talking about? Talking about portrait lenses. That's right. What's your favorite portrait lens, mister? Is it an 85? Is it a 105? Is it a 135? Has it got something to do with 5? 55! Well, we'll find out. Because we'll go through a range of them and find out which one is kind of ideal for portraits, because that's kind of what we focus on here at Modesty Photography, Camera Talk. So, grab yourself something to eat or drink, relax a little.
And now for something completely different.
And let's get it on.
Here I am, Vietnam. Rain is always coming down.
This is Camera Talk with Dr. Scott and Dylan. Almost kind of sang that, didn't I? And Dylan. All right, you ready, mister? Well, this week's episode of Camera Talk is just as the intro says. We're not actually going to be reviewing any lenses or whatnot, but we'll be talking about a range of... Leave your shirt alone, mister. It's not a fashion shoot. A range of portrait lenses. Different focal lengths that are used for portraiture. Kind of looking at, why? Why don't we all use the same one? Because of the variety we have, for one, and the effects that they result in when you're using them. So what is what is a portrait lens? Something to take pictures of people. Generally speaking, it's going to be headshots from here up. Aww. Could be a super close-up. Oh, did that tickle? Super close-up on Dylan. Or it could be a half body shot. Or even a full body shot. So again, that's going to depend on, or make a difference anyway, on the type of focal length that you're going to use or decide to use as a photographer, or even as a client. If you're getting your photo taken, if you understand the effects of the different focal lengths, that could, have an influence on what you decide to tell the photographer. Hey, use this lens because I like the effect on my face better.
All right, Mr. DeMille, I'm ready for my close-up.
So anyhow, we have a range, again, the range I choose of all the focal lengths I have begin with a 75. I have a Leica Sumerit 75 millimeter. I have a Minolta 85. Now I have other brands of the same focal length, but these are the ones I chose anyway. So a Minolta 85. I have a Tamron 90. I have a Olympus 100. I have Nikon 105. Konica 135, and the 200 Tokina 200 millimeter that I'll be using as well. So those are the ones I'll be taking photos of Dylan. He'll be my little model, and showing sitting in this chair, showing what the look is and what happens to his face.
I'm lost.
As we move up the range. So with that said, again, it's preferenced with what your intentions are. If you're looking for taking humorous shots, or some artistic shots. The wider angle lenses tend to, that's like the fakest cough I've ever heard.
And the Oscar goes to...
Tend to be used for funny photos, or again, artistic intentions, depending on what you're using them for. And that's because of distortion. You know, once you start dropping down below 50, I mean, if you're not 50, you can kind of identify some distortion happening, you know, elongating of the face just a bit. And then 35 from there. But really where you start to see it is below that, 28, 24, 21, 16, 14, 12, boop, just go down. Obviously, the lower the number, the greater the distortion. So think the opposite of that. The higher the number, the longer the focal length, less distortion, reducing the distortion. So you're flattening the features, which results in the other F word. And what is the other F word? What the fuck? No. Flattering. Phew, dirty mind you have, mister. So anyway, that's what we're going to be looking at. So as I said, I have a range here from my 75 Summeret, my Leica 75 Summeret. Now I took all the shots on my Sony A7R II, just because they're more convenient with the number of adapters that I have. It fits more so on my Sony than obviously on my Leica. I don't have, you know, Minolta to Leica adapters and whatnot. So anyway, just explains why I'm using my A7R II as my go-to camera for this video. So anywho, so let's show you some shots of this guy with my 75 millimeter Leica Summeret 2.4. And so you can see, you know, nice looking face. Well, it's because he's so cute, isn't he? Yeah. Still, let's take a look now at my 85 millimeter Minolta, which is f2. F2, ready? Dylan at f2. And you see how it, again, it reshapes the face just ever so slightly. And then moving on to, what was the next one? The Tamron 90 millimeter 2.5. Right? There's Dylan 2.5. Now, one of the other aspects of this we haven't really discussed yet, and it's just going to be a minor discussion, but the fact that some of these lenses are macro lenses, and that makes a difference because it allows you to get even closer to your subject to take pictures. And that's what my 90 millimeter Tamron is a macro lens. So therefore, I could get very close to Dylan's face and take a picture of his eyeball or his lips or something like that. Maybe I'm doing some weird, funky fashion shoot and want to see these things. I don't know. People take macro shots of all kinds of things. But in portraiture, you know, you're not macroing too much in that regard. So just wanted to mention that, just since I have the macro lens here. But anyway, moving on up the focal range, I have a 100 millimeter Olympus, and it is a 2.8. So here's Dylan at 2.8. And you can see again, it's starting to flatten the face out there. And then moving up again to my Nikon 105, and it's you know, again, this is the famous lens from the Afghan Girl National Geographic thing. But this is a 105, also 2.5, just like my Tamron there. So it's a 2.5. And again, you'll see why this lens is so popular for the focal length that it is. It is a very flattering look. So here's Dylan at 105, 2.5. Uh-huh. Isn't he cute, huh? He's such a cute boy. All right. 105, where are we going next? To my 135. Now we're kind of jumping from one focal length, and it moves up quite a bit because there are no 110s and 115s and so on. But, we jump now up to my Konica 135. And even though, everybody always wants the wide open, extreme focal length or aperture. Well, this one is 3.2, but out of the range of the Konica 135s, this one was right in the middle, and it's actually the better quality 135. So here's Dylan at 135, 3.2. And you can see again, now it's starting to really flatter and flatten the face out, so it's not elongating or anything. It's getting a nice look on Dylan's face, even though you always have a nice look on your face, don't you? Don't you? Yes, you do. And lastly is my Tokina. It's a zoom lens. It's the equivalent of a 70 to 200, except this one's 80 to 200. But hey, what's the difference? I don't use the lower end anyway. So, but again, it's a Tokina. It's a vintage manual focus lens, and it is at 2.8 as well. And so here's Dylan at 200 millimeter, 2.8. And you can really see the flattening there. And one of the other things we didn't talk about too is as your focal length gets longer, your out of focus background gets more so out of focus. It compresses the background, and your the quality of that out of focus background is called bokeh. So bokeh may play a bigger difference in the longer focal lengths. So again, these are the typical portraiture focal lengths that are used in this genre. And again, it's something for you to keep in mind. And if you have all of these focal lengths, maybe it's in a zoom, maybe you have a 70 to 200, maybe you have a 24 to 105, or who knows, whatever the range could be. You can hit on all these focal lengths and try them out yourself to see which one is going to work best for you and your particular needs as a portrait photographer. So, what else? Just to show you those fuzzy wuzzy was a bear backgrounds. Let's show you some random stuff. And we'll try to go through each one of the focal lengths. Again, 75, 85, 90, 100, 105, 135, and 200, just to show you the out of focus background differences and what the capabilities of those lenses can mean to you. All right, so here's some random crap at focal length, whatever. Or no, not focal length, aperture, whatever. And I think that's pretty much all we were gonna really talk about with that kind of stuff, right? There's not much else I can think of, unless you can think of anything. No, I'm not gonna talk about cookies. So anyway, can we recommend all these focal lengths?
Yes!
Oh yeah, I mean the individual ones, of course. There might be some pretty low quality, brands with these focal lengths. But again, this intention of this video was just to show you what those focal lengths could look like and the effects that they can have on Dylan's face. So hope you got a little something out of this anyway. And how about we give a little plug for our photo editing software that we use. Who do we use, buddy? We use Luminar. Luminar AI and Luminar Neo. Now, Luminar AI stands for what? What's AI stand for, mister? Come on, you've had plenty of weeks of practicing this now. What's AI mean? No, artificial intelligence. Come on, you gotta learn that word by now. So artificial intelligence. We did a video on that earlier also. The effects that artificial intelligence is having on photography and whatnot. Now, as far as photo editing goes, I like it because just less stuff I have to do to get to my finished photo that I'm happy with. Click, 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 and I'm done. With a little slide here and there for personal preferences. But for the most part, what's it have? It has power line removal, spot dust removal. It has scenery lighting. It has portrait AI, since we're talking about portraits. Background removal, is what that portrait AI meant. Composition AI. Yeah. Enhancement AI. Cropping AI. Masking AI. And a bunch of other AI. I don't want to make this video about AI. Dylan AI. But anyway, it's a pretty cool little piece of software, and they had some groundbreaking features that Lightroom and Photoshop and everyone else is just playing catch up with right now. But they're good quality stuff, and it's relatively economical. I think it's like $80. You can buy yourself a copy, and it's yours for life. You buy it only once, one time, and it's yours for life, right? You never have to upgrade if you don't want to, because if they come up with a new software, you'd have to buy that, obviously, but you still, I have Luminar 3, I have Luminar 4, I have AI, and now I have Neo. But they're mine. I
Are we clear?
don't have to give them back, and they don't expire. So anyway, each one has its strengths and weaknesses. But would you like to get a discount if you're going to buy one? Are you considering buying one? Do you think they should consider buying one? Yes. I think so. Well, if you want a discount, click below in the description. There's a link to buy a copy of Luminar, and you can get what? $10 off, right? Who doesn't like $10 off? And what happens for that $10 that you get off? Well, they give it to us. Hey, why not? We're trying to sell it for them, right? So that's our little kickback. Everybody loves kickback, right? Yay, kickback. That's right. So, and what are you going to get with your kickback? You're going to save it up and get what? $1 million.
$1 million.
So, and then when you have that $1 million, you're going to share with Daddy, right?
No!
Don't be greedy. Don't be selfish. Other than that, well, how about you support our channel? Because we'd be nobody without you. Well, no, we'd still be someone. I'm Dr. Scott. You're Dylan.
I'm Batman.
And together we are Modesty Photography. That's right, we're here for tips and tricks and talking about photos and photographs, equipment, vintage lenses, cameras, lighting, composition, just stuff about photography. So why don't you support us and subscribe? That's right. How about Dylan on this side? Subscribe. Well, what the heck? Your arm's like a wet noodle. Subscribe. And together, 2 fingers. Put your fingers up. Whoop. And my 2 fingers is 4 fingers. Subscribe. Well, it's a lame attempt, mister.
You suck.
And besides subscribers, what else does YouTube like? What helps the algorithm? Thumbs up, right? If you give us thumbs up, we'll give you a look at the thumbs up girls. What does that mean? Thumbs up, do 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 do. Thumbs up. Excellent. And well, you're getting tired, are you? It's like lunchtime, ready for that after lunch nap. Oh yeah, we'll put you to sleep in a minute. So, other than that, I think that's all we were going to ask them to do. Subscribe, give us a thumbs up, and come on back next week, because we do it again. And why should they come back? Because you belong here. And where do they belong, buddy? What's the name of our show? Well, this was Camera Talk with Dr. Scott and Dylan. Dylan! Murder right here on YouTube, live. Well, live for you until you're not live anymore, but for them it's live. And so come on back next week. Thank you for dropping by. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for the thumbs up. Thank you for buying a copy of what? Luminar. I'm thinking Luminix. That's my little camera over there, Lumix. Thank you for just being you. Stay safe out there. Stay COVID free. Stay flu free. Stay RVS free.
What you talking about, doctor?
What is RVS? RSV. RVS. It's like some drugstore or something somewhere. Anyway, we'll see you in the next video. All right, you ready to say bye-bye, mister? That's enough for today, huh? All right. Bye-bye.
Here I am.